Hello and welcome to another edition of TSL Talk, a bit of a casual edition today for the second week of the finals. Adam, is Clarence cooked?
They're on struggle street. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, you've 4 of their last 5 that they've dropped, scrape over the line against North Hobart, and then missing probably their best 2 players as it stands. They're certainly facing a very uphill battle.
Even if they do get over the line this week, it's hard to see them going any further, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think Burnley and Launceston are probably clearly now the top 2 sides and have, on form, probably have been for a little while now. So Clarence spluttered in, and they're not playing great footy, and the fact you've just been smashed by injuries, and any side will say you lose your top 2 or 3 players, and it makes it very difficult.
Were they ever in the game in the qualifying final against Launceston last Saturday?
For a period in the second quarter, they, I think they started to rally, but that was about it. After half time, I think Launceston kicked the first 5 goals of the third quarter, and really from there it was just, held them at bay. So Launceston always seem to have their measure. You always sort of expect in the finals match Clarence will find something, as they tend to do over the years, but they just didn't have it on Saturday.
They're going to get Rowan Swan back from suspension. He's a lock. Then there's maybe a chance of Brendan Savage, although probably unlikely. Jack Boone might be another one to come in. Aaron French, who would be crucial for them in that midfield, but he's coming off a jaw injury. Maybe there's a lot of what ifs and buts about them getting back into the season, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and even you look at somebody like Savage, as important as he is, he's played 6 quarters in 3 months of footy, so he's obviously his conditioning will be down, and he'll be struggling a little bit if they do get him up. Obviously Lauderdale have injuries of their own, so it might be a case of last man standing for this one, I think.
And it could be a pretty brutal game because these 2 clubs don't really get along, do they?
No, they don't, and we see a few things floating around in the social media, especially of late, of former coaches getting involved, so no doubt that'll add a bit of spice, and I reckon there will be nothing left in the tank at that final siren.
Well, you touched on injuries to Lauderdale. Matthew Smith, hamstring injury, re-injured, probably you'd almost say definitely won't play again this week anyway. Michael Cassidy certainly won't play. Like Savage and Thurley, they're probably the 2 best players for Lauderdale.
Yeah, no doubt. Matty Smith, I think, said he's going to try and get back for the grand final should they get that far. Kane Waller's going to be underdone. His knee's obviously causing a bit of few issues for him as well. So, the top, it's disappointing, I guess, in a league point of view. You go along and you want to see the best players on the park. This time of year, there's always some casualties, and it just happens to be those top-line players for both sides. So hopefully it's still a good spectacle, and the football will be the winner on the day.
Lauderdale's shown some amazing resolve though the last couple of weeks. Both times trailed at 3/4 time with injuries and run over the top of their opponents, including the last roster game against Clarence, who they obviously play this week. In the elimination final against Glenorchy, can they get themselves up one more time and go that one step further?
Well, on form you'd have to say yes they can. I guess there must be just a huge amount of self-belief within this group at the moment. Haven't played finals before, and they come out and you're down 20 points at 3/4 time, and to, I guess, come storming home, it's Windy's obviously doing something pretty good there to have that group up and running, and no doubt they'll think they can win from whatever position they find themselves in.
And it's going to be a cracker on the northwest coast as well, West Park, where Burnie will be hosting Launceston in the second semi-final, or a spot in the grand final up for stakes. Lonnie go up with some pretty impressive form. Yeah,
they're rolling at the moment. I guess we always sort of thought they'd click eventually, and they have. Get their best players on the park. That was probably close to full strength on the weekend. Bit of doubt about Scott Stevens now re-injuring that calf, but they've just got class all over the board, and they're probably, you'll be hard pressed to find this not being a preview of the grand final, I think, in a couple of weeks' time.
And do you think their home ground advantage could make the difference in this game?
It could. I think they're undefeated this year up there, Burnie, aren't they? And I think the big key is going to be that ruck battle. I reckon after watching on the weekend, Nathan O'Donoghue's hands down second best ruckman in the state behind Jason Laycock. His work, to feed those midfielders inside really did get Launceston rolling. So if he can break even, or even, match Jason Laycock around the ground, I think he won the medal best on in the grand final last year, so he's proven he can do it. That'll go a long way to deciding this contest.
Did you see any signs of life from Brian Finch? Was he getting close to back to his best form?
Yeah, look, he was up and about. I guess he plays a bit closer to goal, and then he was playing a bit further up the field. So he's a physical presence. You wouldn't want to run into him at full tilt, but he's he hunts the ball, and he just provides that big forward line there where they can really work around him, even if he's not getting the ball. Derbyshire kicked 5 in the first 3 quarters before they put him in cotton wool. So they're looking very potent up there.
So you sticking with the home team or going for the hot informed Launceston?
I think Launceston might cause a little bit of an upset here and get over the line.
And Lauderdale in the other semi-final?
I think Clarence will scrape through in a very tight one.
All right, Adam, thanks very much for your thoughts. And remember, for all your TSL stories, pick up your copy of the Mercury or go to the Mercury online.